If you bought a recorder, then have no fear. Oh, yeah. Recorder Corner is here. Hey there, third grade. Welcome back to another week of Recorder Corner. Hopefully your recorders are still playing those songs. Hopefully you're getting all those notes, including some of our new ones that we learned last week. But let's start with a really old one. Let's get warmed up with Hot Cross Buns. Here we go. Ready? Great. Hot Cross Buns is a great one to warm up. Now, that's just three notes. Let's add a note. Let's add E. Okay, let's do a song. Let's do, how about Poor Little Kitty Cat? Tricky one. Let's see if you remember how it goes. Ready? Good luck. That's a tricky one. How did it go? Hopefully pretty well. Now, we have B, A, and G. We have E, and we've got low D, which the song we know with that is Chatter with the Angels. Let's sing through it first. Here we go. G, 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 E, D, 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 E, G, 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 E, D, B, A, G, and repeat. G, 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 E, D, 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 E, G, 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 E, D, B, A, G. You remember it? How'd it go? All right, let's try it together. Here we go. Good luck. How did it sound? Were the notes squeaky? If they were, make sure your fingers are flat. Make sure you're not using too much air. And make sure when you get those lower notes, you're opening your jaw a little bit more, open up your throat a little bit more, make a different air come out, okay? So that is probably the trickiest song we know. Now, last week, we learned a new note. Our newest note before that was low D, and it was our lowest note. Our new note was our highest note. In fact, it was so much higher. It was an octave higher than low D. Do you remember the name of it? It's an octave higher than low D. So it's not low D, it's high D, high D, high D, high. Okay. How do you play high D on your recorder? Well, everyone show me A. Take your other hand, keep it at the bottom. Remove your pointer, remove your thumb, and that is how you play our new note, high D. Very high note. It's actually one of the easiest notes to make a good sound on because you have so few fingers covering, and just use just a whisper and you'll make a really great sound on that high D, okay? Now, we're gonna learn a song that has high D, but before we do that, let's review where high D goes on our staff. It's actually, should be pretty self-explanatory. We got our treble clef here, our G clef, a P, a G, and a little tail. Boom, there we go. Okay, you know the sentence. Every good burger deserves fries. We know the space is F-A-C-E, okay? Where is high D? Where is high D? Do you know? Every good burger deserves. There it is. Fourth line is where our new note high D goes. In fact, it's so high, just like B, the stem for it is going to go down. It's so high up, the stem is going to go down. This is high D. Our other notes, well, we know B is on the third line. We know A is in the second space. We know G is on the second line. We know E is on the first line, and we know that low D is below the first line. We now know a whole octave there. A range of an octave of notes, high D way down to low D, okay? Now, I have a song that uses high D. It's a very cool song. It's actually a fun song. It's a song called Scotland's Burning, and it goes like this. Scotland's burning, Fetch the engines, fetch the engines. Fire, 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 fire. Pour on water, pour on water. Now, that song is a pretty good song to play in the recorder because it's repetitive. There's a lot of similarities throughout the song, but there's a lot of note variety too. On the Weebly, link below, there is a copy of the music for this song. This is a really important song to look at when you're playing because there's so many notes in it, okay? In fact, it has almost every one of our notes in it, all right? This song starts on the note that's right below the first line. It's our lowest note. It is low D. We play 2 of them to start. D, D, then we move up to G, 2 Gs. G, G, kind of a neat pattern actually. It looks cool because you're starting with 6 fingers and then you go to 3. 2 hands and then 1 hand. D, D, G, G. Now in this song, you never play it just once. You always play it 2 times in a row. So watch. D, D, G, G, D, D, G, G. Sing that with me and move your fingers. D, D, G, G, D, D, G, G. Good. Now, the next phrase has 2 different notes. It's in fact our next 2 notes that go higher. What will be 1 note higher? A. And then what will be another note higher? B. A, B, B, A, B, B. Try that with me. A, B, B, A, B, B. Okay, so far so good. The third phrase is where we get to our new note. We've reached the pinnacle. We've reached the peak. We've reached high D. How do you switch from this to high D? Well, next finger goes down, and the other 2 come up. Watch that again. Here's B. Finger goes down, other 2 come up. One more time. Finger goes down, other 2 come up. D, 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 D. Not too hard of a phrase. The hardest part is getting there from B to D. Try that with me. D, 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 D. Now the hardest part of the song. The third phrase ends on high D. The fourth phrase begins on low D. Oi, oi, oi. All the way down. You're going from this note to this note. That is tricky. This note to this note. High D to low D. That's a full octave with nothing in between. And the last phrase, once you get there, is actually pretty easy. It's the same as the first phrase. D, D, G, G, D, D, G, G. And that's it, okay? So, moving from the notes is the hardest part of the song. The notes themselves aren't really that hard, but getting from phrase to phrase, that can be tricky. So let's try the whole song together. Here we go. D, D, G, G, D, D, G, G, A, B, B, A, B, B, D, 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 G, G, D, D, G, G. Lots of low Ds, lots of high Ds in this song, okay? Let me play it for you. This is what it sounds like. What's the only note not in this song? E, right? Okay, so take a look at the music for this song. Scotland's Burning. Now, learn this song this week. Take your time. Really practice those motions between B and high D, and then from high D to low D. The other hard part with that is this. You have to change your air. High D, you just need, regular air for that. Low D is when you have to open up your throat a little bit, get that different air coming out. That's just a good thing to practice from high D to low D, one note to the next. Almost sounds like a fire siren. Practice that. It's a good little extra activity to practice, okay? There is something else we can do with this song. You're going to see it on your sheet music. We're going to talk about it next week. This is actually a song you can play in canon, in a round. And we're going to try that next week. But first, we have to learn it by ourselves. So take your time, Practice it. If you want to send me a video of you playing it, there's a Flipgrid link there. Do that. I'd love to hear it, okay? So have some fun with Scotland's Burning. Have some fun with your new note, high D and low D. And most importantly, keep on making music with your recorder. We'll see you next time.
Recorder Corner is here.